Good morning and welcome back to LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. So this morning I have the pleasure of having two amazing people on the show to talk about the Links Gala that's coming up. Former City of New Haven Mayor Toni Harp, my soror. Hello, my dear.
Hi, how are you?
It is lovely to see you. You look amazing.
Well, look at you.
Thank you. And Michael Jai White, who is a filmmaker, actor, an artist, who is building gigantic studios here in New Haven. It is lovely to see you again.
You as well. You as well.
So the gala, I guess you call it the 50 pairs anniversary. Is that?
Well,
is that
it's our 50th year. We were founded in 1972. And so it's our 50th golden anniversary, and we're really excited. We're extraordinarily excited about Michael J. White being our honoree, and I want to thank you, Mr. White, for agreeing to do that. We are so excited. So we're going to highlight you, and we're going to highlight the work that we've done over the past 50 years. And I know for some folks it doesn't seem like a lot, but we've worked really hard on these kind of events to give nearly $400,000 worth of book awards and scholarships to students throughout our area. We basically serve Greater New Haven. We work in 4 other areas. We work, well, 5 really: services to youth, national trends and services, the arts, and health and human services, and international trends and services. And so we're going to be recognizing Mr. White's work in the arts and also economic development. I am so excited about gigantic studios coming to New Haven. How wonderful it will be in terms of jobs, in terms of young people finding a way to express their creativity. So thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you. You don't understand. It feels wonderful for me. I couldn't feel any better doing something like this. So it feels weird getting thanks for something I want to do so badly.
I love it. So you know what, Toni, the Links in New Haven has been around since 1972, and the need for scholarship and book and all of that has not diminished at all. If anything, it is more necessary now than ever. Talk a little bit about why the need is still there for a Links organization to do what they do.
Well, I think it's really important for us to understand the kind of world that we live in. We live in a technological world, a world that if you're going to feed yourself and your family, you have to be educated. You have to know how to function in this world. I recently got a new car, and it's a computer, And you've got to be able to read. You've got to be able to understand math. You've got to be able to understand how all of these things function. And for us as African Americans, I still believe, as my father believed, that the one thing that no one can take away from you is what you know. And I think it's really important that we support young people having that as a value, and so that's why we do it. We're most recently we've really focused on HBCUs. All 3 of my kids went to HBCUs, but we are, because for so many young people, and if you think about what developed the middle class among Black people, it was HBCUs. And we want to continue to support them. We have a wonderful program, the Promise Program in Connecticut, or in New Haven, actually. And kids can go to state schools, but I think it's wonderful to be able to go to a school where people look like you. And for one time, you can test yourself, because you don't have to feel like I did, like the only Black person in the classroom years and years ago, and to be treated one way because of your culture and your skincare. When you're in a Black, traditionally Black college or university, you can be yourself. You can see who you are reflected in everybody else, but you can also test yourself. And so that's why we're supporting young people who are going to those schools with this scholarship.
I love it. I'm a graduate of HBCU, so I can attest to all of that. So, Michael, coming back, because Connecticut is your roots. Like you're from this part of the country, coming back to Connecticut to sort of build something that has traditionally and historically not been at our fingertips, and introducing opportunities for young people to dream a different sort of dream than they've been given or are used to. Talk a little bit about what this journey has meant to you.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like you can only be yourself, and I've realized that for me, this is I feel like you got to live to your potential, and this is so written for me to do. I've always intended, ever since I left Connecticut, always intended of bringing films back. I thought about it individually, like this movie or that movie. I always wanted to share my upbringing, surroundings with the world, because even as a child in Bridgeport and New Haven, I'm going, wow, that would look so good on film. There's so much of these areas that would be amazing. But then there's a lot of talent out there, and there's a lot of opportunities that I want to really teach kids about, because I always encourage them that anytime they see a movie, start counting the names in the credits at the end of that movie. And not only is there the stars in front of the camera, but far more than that, there's like hundreds and hundreds of people who make great livings doing all kinds of things around the movie and TV industry. And when you start being aware of all those names, those are jobs. So that's something that I want to bring back to my hometown.
So and Tony, in honoring Michael Jai White, what was some of the qualities that you said, you know what, he really is embodying what we are trying to mirror for our communities? Talk a little bit about that decision-making process.
Well, first of all, he is someone who came from Connecticut. So often you see people who've made it really big, and, you don't know them, you don't have the opportunity to know them, but he came from Connecticut. His roots are here. People already know him and will know him even more. I think that the arts inspire us. The fact that he is a martial artist inspired us as well. And I think that it will inspire our young people. One of the things, as a matter of fact, I don't know if it's true, but both my daughter and my son thought they went to the same place that you went to when you trained. I don't know if that's true or not, but the fact that there are people who can believe that that's true, and that they know somebody famous, and has not only become an actor and an artist, but has also taken martial art up to the height. I mean, it's really something that we know about boys, that oftentimes if they get into trouble and are really sort of disorganized, that martial arts can help to organize them. So it was important that's an important thing to us as well. And then, of course, the economic development aspect, the fact that he doesn't just want to be a writer, an actor, a director, and a producer. He wants to be an owner of a studio and someone, and I think the fact that he has that high aspiration is something that we want other people to model, and especially our young people.
Oh, I love it. I love it. In coming here and putting the studio here, Michael, and we're starting to see all of this around superhero development and superhero characters, and we're starting to see ourselves in these films more and more over the last few years. And you being the very first superhero that we've seen, what do you think? What do you think of all of that? And do you feel like you had a hand in opening that door?
Possibly, but it doesn't really resonate with me so much. It's great to have played that, but it's you know, I'm not one to rest on my laurels. I'm so focused on, you know, climbing and doing more and telling stories. I mean, stories. I mean, unite us all. I mean, I don't care if you're living in Istanbul. We're connected by the human condition, and there's so many stories out there that have not been told, and it's almost like I can't hold it to Hollywood to tell stories that they don't quite understand, you know? So there has to be more filmmakers who've lived lives that's just beyond what you've seen there. And, you know, like I said before, it's about living to your potential. And I know there's a lot more that I can do out there, and a lot more storytelling and a lot of talent that's untapped. And so, you know, I know how to put these films together, and I enjoy being able to bring something back, and you know, even changing the lives of investors who, you know, who I've seen it change to where people go, wow, I didn't know I could be a part of this industry. And if you're a producer for the rest of your life. And I mean, it just opens up, there's a whole world that's opened up for so many people. And so with so much joy to be spread around, that's something that excites me to bring back to my hometown.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, Tony, the Links have a lot of work ahead of them in terms of our communities are always at an economic disadvantage around health, around education, around arts, and that's across the diaspora. So what do you think the charge will be for y'all moving forward? How do you think about the future and all these things that are still plaguing our communities?
You know, I think that one of the things that we as Links want to do is to lead and to also help to develop resources so that we can address some of these things. I know that when COVID first came out and nobody could find a mask anywhere, or some of the sanitary items that people needed to just be safe, we were able to take some of the money that we raised in events like this to purchase those masks, give them to the elderly in our community, and really show that we can begin to address things at sort of at the granular level that oftentimes just doesn't happen at a national level in time. And so we were able to sort of bridge that gap. And I think that that's what we hope to do, continue to do in health and human services and in education and services to youth. And we also think it's really, really important that you talked about the diaspora, that we're connected as well to things that are going on around the world, particularly that affect people of African descent. And we want to help. And so we give money to Haiti when they have a hard time getting money from anywhere else. Our national organization does that. We help do that locally. And we work in Africa. We work with little kids in our chapter whose parents have died because of AIDS. And we do little simple things to just make their lives a little bit happier. And we're really proud of the work. You know, look, we're just 41 strong, but in Connecticut, there are 6 chapters and there are hundreds of us, and we get together and we do this work. And we also, I think there's 16,000 of us across the United States. And we give money. We give the most money to HBCUs of any organization. We are one of the founding organizations of the National Historical Museum in Washington, D.C. And, you know, all of these kinds of things that really help people that have a vision and that they want to accomplish we helped to get that done. I wouldn't be surprised if, well, I know that some of us are working with you, Mr. White, on your vision, but our members oftentimes are people who can step into that next place that you've stepped in and help produce and help do the kind of work that actually connects us to the kind of opportunities that we've really not had a part of. So I'm rattling on and on, but you see what I'm very excited about the work that we do locally and nationally and internationally.
I think you're doing amazing work. And I know the national organization that has been committed to $1 million to the Obama Library. And I believe you're the sitting president for the New Haven chapter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So congratulations on being the president of the New Haven chapter of the Links. So Michael, I'm always struck by every time I see you talk somewhere, you speak somewhere, and you talk about all the things that people can do behind the scenes. You know, you don't always have to be the artist, that there are really amazing opportunities behind the scenes that people I don't even consider or think about, particularly kids in our neighborhood, because they don't see anybody who looks like them talking about what happens behind the scenes of a film, a production, or anything like that. So talk a little bit about how do you continue to share that message? How do you make that point to young people about you can do this?
Well, I mean, the quickest way to make that point is just by living by example. Because if I've done it, they can connect to them doing it. The same thing happened for me. I mean, I didn't grow up with many actors or anything around. I mean, it's something I realized that I wanted to pursue. I think later in college, got more serious about it. But yeah, the fact that this industry touches almost every type of business. I don't care if it's, dry cleaning, music, art, everything. I mean, there's not many things that involved with movie and television production, that there's not many occupations that doesn't touch this industry. And so, getting folks to realize that, because I mean, I came about it later too, when I started producing, realizing that, whether it be driving and trucks and hotels and restaurants, everything, it brings up just commerce everywhere around it. So that's something that, I hope people, it's some of the things that, I think they'll realize it as it goes, because it's going to be a learning process for everyone. But it's another thing that makes me giddy, because I know folks don't have any idea of what's about to happen, and I'm really excited to do a lot of the covert work. The thankless stuff excites me, because I mean, once we're in there, we can touch a lot of areas that need help. But I choose to do it to where, like, my analogy is, if a dog really wants to bite you, he's not even going to bark. He's just going to do it. So I'm excited about, the upfront work and the kind of undercover work.
All right, I like it. So tell me about the event, Tony. When is it? What's happening? What should I expect? Can I buy tickets? Are tickets on sale?
Okay, so the event is November 5th, and it will be at the Omni Hotel in New Haven. We'll have a special reception for Mr. White, so people will have an opportunity to meet him. And tickets are $150 to $200, excuse me. And yes, we're selling tickets until October 28th. So come on down.
So you have a few more days to get your ticket. And let me tell you, the Links know how to throw a damn good party. So I've gone to several in my life. I know how good this party is going to be. These women are going to pull out all the stops, and it's going to be a very glamorous affair. and I'm looking forward. So will there be any entertainment? Will there be music?
Oh, sure. We're going to have entertainment. And I think our band is renowned in the region. They're coming from New Jersey. Don't ask me the name. I wish I. We're going to have stilt walkers, so you'll see.
Oh, wow. See, this is what I mean. I want to get all the little particulars, like, woo, what's going to happen? Like, what am I going to see? What am I going to experience?
Yeah. And we're going to do a live auction. We're going to have a silent auction, and that should be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that all of our Link sisters, but most of us are going to get up there and do a little line dance and get everybody ready to party.
I don't know, Michael. Are you ready to hang with these ladies? Because I'm already tired.
I'll get the energy.
Yeah. So, Tony, talk to me about 50 years from now. Where do you see the New Haven chapter of the Links 50 years from now?
Well, I'm hoping that the need won't be as great as it currently is, and that we can look back and say, this is how we've brought ourselves forward. This is how we've brought, our people forward, and that we've addressed educational attainment among our young people, that we have improved health for our communities and have solved some of those problems, that we've reached out and used our resources to help people in other countries, and that we've also encouraged people to participate in our democracy. Everybody knows that we are having an election on November 8th, and they should get out to vote. There's a question on the ballot, and we hope to get the word out that people have got to at least look at the question and make a decision. We're not for profits. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you can probably guess if you remember there's a question and you read it.
Yes, I've been touting it ever since I heard about the question. Should Connecticut make provisions for early voting? And
one of the things, and I don't mean to sort of take away from the Links, but that's part of what we do. We encourage people to vote, and we get out there and we try to get the vote out. But people look at, and they're really crying the blues about Georgia and Louisiana and all of these places. They have more access in those places to the vote than we do in Connecticut. Yes. And most people don't know that.
Yes, that is. So when people start thinking about, oh, Connecticut is so progressive, well,
not so
much. Not so much. So, Michael, there has been a lot of conversation over the last several years about how projects are green lighted. I've listened to Tyler Perry talk about this. I've listened to Oprah talk about this. I've listened to all kinds of people talk about how challenging it is to if you get a good story or a good script, to get it to production. And oftentimes people of color don't sit at those tables where they can green light projects. But I think that's shifting. Do you feel like that's changing? I mean, because you have a whole studio now. Does it feel like that is changing?
Well, yeah, definitely. That has been a shift. The consciousness of folks, even in Hollywood, has changed. It's not, it's not a quick shift. Still, a lot of the powers you have to ask to do, and a lot of a lot of folks, like I say, I can't expect them to really understand until we're in the position of power to tell our own stories. But yeah, things have changed quite a bit. And like Tony had mentioned, one of the things we're doing is we're reaching into Africa as well, to be able to unite with people around the world that, that want to tell the stories as well. And to let them know that there's, that if we work amongst each other, we can get some things done really powerfully. I've been over the years connecting with several countries in Africa to do this, and there should be hopefully very soon, we will have an announcement that's quite exciting. That
well, Africa is overcoming. I mean, Netflix has a whole section on Nigerian films and other African country films, and Nollywood is a real thing. It's a real place.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my partners is the head of that.
I love it, and the fact that does it help? Does it excite you to know that films can be seen not just on the big screen? That films can be green lighted at all these streaming companies, like a Hulu, like a Netflix, like Apple TV, like all these things. Does that make your job better, easier to have all these opportunities to put a production somewhere?
Definitely. It gets a little complicated, because everybody, it's sharing pieces of the pie, but those things are getting done.
I like it. So Tony, the Lynx is celebrating 50 years, and this is the big gala, and everybody will be dressed up and fancy, and the music will be swinging, and the food will be delicious. What do you want people to take away from this celebration? Like what is it that you want people to leave with feeling?
Well, I hope they feel like they've had a good time. But beyond that, I hope they feel like they're helping an organization that also helps to build and develop our community.
I like it. And so, Michael, what the Lynx does, I would imagine, aligns with your personal goals around philanthropy and community building and international efforts. Talk a little bit about what that means.
Well, I mean, we're all in service to others. That's what it comes down to. That's what I realized I was put on the earth to do. So, I'm kind of a Ronin. If I have the opportunity, the blessing to be able to do this, you know what I mean? It's so I feel like I've already won. As long as I can continue to do what I think I've been put on the earth to do, I mean, I'm the happiest guy I know. So, I mean, if I could be used in any kind of capacity to continue my work, I mean, I can't be happier.
I love it. So, Tony, will there be other opportunities to celebrate the 50th anniversary beyond November 5th?
Yes, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping you'll hear from us in the spring, and as we do things in the community, we're going to ask people to join with us. And so, we're small but mighty, but with others joining with us, will be even greater. And so, you're going to be hearing from us.
I am so glad that I had a chance to talk with you all this morning. Congratulations on this wonderful honor, Michael Jai White. And it is so lovely to see you, Sister Toni Harp.
It's good seeing you, my sister. We grew up together in New Haven.
Yes.
In many respects.
Yeah, so I can't wait to party with the Purpose on November 5th. I will be there. And I can't wait to see all the dazzling entertainment and to see Mr. White accept this wonderful award and this honor, and bring a little glamour in Hollywood to New Haven for the Saturday night of November 5th. So thank y'all so much for your time this morning. It is really good to see y'all.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Mr. White. Can't wait.
Thank you. I'm looking forward.
And feel free to come back anytime with any project, with anything. If you just want to come hang out, come on back. I'd love to have you.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Everybody go to the Lynx, the New Haven Chapter Lynx website. I know they're on Facebook. I know Sheila Kerman is on Facebook. Find her and get your tickets, and do not miss this opportunity to have a good time. Thank you, Harry. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. See y'all later.
Bye.